Baby Lock Evolution is an 8-thread serger that can do all kinds of things. It will overlock and it will also do cover stitching. And because of that, we've got 8 separate positions for the threads. So if you look over the top of your machine, you'll see that there is a chain needle 1, 2, and 3. You'll also have your overlock needles 1 and 2 and your upper and lower looper. The very last thread guide is for your chain looper. When we put our thread on, we're going to put it in overlock needle 1, 2, upper looper, and lower looper. All right, so now that you've gotten to see the anatomy of your serger and you kind of know what all those different buttons do, let's go ahead and start to thread the machine. I like to refer to my quick reference threading guide. This is a great little piece that comes with your machine, and you'll notice that it's color coded. On this top, there's always going to be a color, and it's going to correspond with the type of threading I'm going to do. When you open up this chart all the way, you'll see that I have portions of it that are green and gold, and just green. Same thing for the back, but if I fold it a certain way, you can see that I can get all of my threading that's going to be just for my 4-thread serging is going to be here in this green area, and that's what we're going to start with today. This is my 4-thread overlock stitch, and the best thing to do is to start the physical setup of your machine before you do anything else. And so I'm checking to make sure that, number one, I have both of my needles in my overlock positions. I'll also make sure that my stitch length knob, which is this lower large knob down here, that's set between 2.5 and 3.5. My stitch width, I'm going to go ahead and make my cutting blade width the widest that it can be. My stitch selector needs to be on the letter A. I'm not using the wave stitch, so it'll be on overlock. I'm going to make sure that my upper looper selector is up, that my knife blade is up, and that I've got my standard knife cover on the machine. I'm going to go ahead and begin threading now. I'm going to take my selector knob and move it from serging down to threading, and then you'll rotate your hand wheel 1 full turn so that the threading port's engaged. So all the action is happening right down here. Watch. A little click, and now I've got a continuous path for my thread to follow. I can thread my machine in whatever order I want, but I kind of like to work from right to left. I'm going to take my thread, and this is for my lower looper. I'm bringing it up over the top of the thread wire. I'm going to snap it in place. Make sure that your presser foot is raised during this part. Now bring your thread down, and you want to have enough so that if you touch your thigh, it'll give you enough to blow through so that it blows all the way through. So my lower looper, I'll put it in the letter L, just a small amount, and now this is going to blow through right down here. There you go. There's your thread, nice and easy. I wrap it around my cutting blade knife and then bring the thread to the back. Now I'm going to thread my upper looper. My upper looper is this thread back here, and once I've taken it over the thread guide, once again I'm going to take the thread like dental floss, snap it in place, bring it straight down, touch my thigh again, put a small amount in the letter U. My thread comes out up here. So now that both of my looper threads are threaded, I can go ahead and do the needle threads. I'm going to continue on with my right to left, and I'm going to take here, this is my right needle thread. I'm going to snap it down in place, bring him straight down. He goes underneath this single wire here, and then it goes up, over, and down. I'm going to tuck the thread right here behind the last thread guide. I like to get both of my needle threads together before I use the needle threader, and I'll show you that in a separate move here. This is now my left needle thread. I'm going to take him, snap him in place, straight down. It goes under the same port. You're going to follow these little lines here. I'm going to bring this up and around and tuck him behind this guide. And now we're ready for the needle threader. To use your needle threader, lower your presser foot so that you've got a little tension on your threads. Now your needle threader has a little diamond on 2 opposite ends from one another. I like to call them north and south. And inside of here, there's a little tiny wire that when it's exposed, you can see that it has a tiny little cutout at the tip of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to place it across my threading, my needle threader. I'm going to do it from east to west with one of my little notches up. And I'm going to push it very gently towards my needle, and as I slide this down, As soon as it reaches the place on the needle where there's the hole, it pushes it through, and now all I have to do is grab the end of it with my tool, and I can pull that right through. That's pretty easy, isn't it? We'll do it one more time. Now this is definitely something that takes a little bit of practice, and you want to use a real light touch when you're doing it. I'm not pushing hard, and notice that my presser foot is down so that I can access my thread real easy. So we'll just pull those two straight through. I also like to take them and wrap them here underneath my presser foot. I'm going to tuck those to the back. And now to get ready to serge, I'll take all my threads, just because I like to be neat. I cut them off here on the side, and then I'm going to take my selector knob and move it from threading back to serging and close the doors. Now we're ready to stitch.